Thank you so much, Robert. Well, we have been showing you coverage from Grand Park all afternoon, but it's not just in Los Angeles. This was a rally that happened in Chicago, where local leaders spoke out against what's happening in Los Angeles. And they also, you can see the Free David Huerta sign right there, calling for the release of the SEIU labor leader. We have a lot to get to today, including the latest on the Trump administration's travel ban that is now impacting LAX today. Joining me via Zoom is Alan Orr. He's the immigration chair for the National Bar Association, past president of the American Immigration Lawyer Association. Thank you so much for your time and expertise today.
Thank you for having me.
So we talked a little bit about this travel ban, but what does this mean for everyday families, especially those who might have relatives in these impacted countries?
Well, for everyday families, it really changes the landscape of how those individuals will be able to visit them in the United States. The American or national of the States with a green card or a valid visa would be able to visit them, but they wouldn't be able to come here. And the impact also to people who need health care is quite dramatic, as we have already seen the case of the Haitian child who needed to get some heart surgery work done in the United States, who now won't be able to come. It's more of a sort of a landscape about students in my world, where there are about 26,000 students from these countries that have been impacted. And if you're a student now with a valid visa, you're fine to stay in the country. But if your visa expires and you travel and you have to get a new visa, then that's going to present a problem for you. So we're telling them not to travel at this point in time. If you were a student outside the country that was planning to come next year and you haven't received your visa appointment yet, then you won't be able to get a visa, and now your whole school year is upended. So it's a very disrupting sort of way to our culture and our society.
Yeah, and the Supreme Court did weigh in on the travel ban during the Trump administration and said that that was in his purview as president of the United States to protect national security. What do we know about the information that was used to decide which countries to block?
So we know that it was visa overstays and concerns about passport creation. Those things have existed for years. So those aren't really the valid issues. But what I can say about this from a legal format is that this was tailored a little bit more to what the Supreme Court gave the executive branch the right to do. So these exclusions are specific in a qualified way and a diversity of countries. So it probably will survive many of the challenges that the last travel ban did not. There are African countries and Muslim countries on the first line that are complete bans, and then there are partial bans for some Caribbean countries along the way. So there's a good mix in there to sort of avoid some of the issues they had with the earlier challenges before with the Supreme Court.
Right. Haiti, for example, is actually a majority Catholic country. They made the partial ban list. Talk to us also about some of the carve outs that the Trump administration made. There was a lot of talk about the potential impact on the World Cup, which is being hosted by the United States, and then the Olympics in 2028.
So let's just talk about numbers in general. From this impacted group is about 300,000 nationals. It's about $2.5 billion worth of income for the United States yearly from this group that may be excluded from coming between the students and business capacity that may be coming, maybe more because of the World Cup. The World Cup exemptions are for the family members or the team members or team participants of the World Cup, but not for the fans. How outrageous is that? That's the biggest profitability that this country, that North America would see, with the fans coming in to spend extra money to actually be at these games between the United States, Canada, and Central America. So that's really hardening or hurt a lot of the businesses that thought they were going to get a little bit of the fan capacity, as well as there's exception for dual nationals, for people who have green cards, and for individuals who already have a valid visa, and for some of the other categories. But this does still hit hard refugees and people who are trying to seek asylum or just trying to come to the United States to visit.
Right. And some soccer fans were quick to point out the entire purpose of these games, like the World Cup, is to bring people of different nationalities together to actually meet people, for citizens from countries that otherwise they might not interact with. Immigration attorney Alan Orr, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.